The last
Nobel
topic,
Prize.
I gotta pull this up again because I fucking forget my topics all the time. Our favorite comic book series, right? We've talked about like our favorite like superheroes and our comic book characters, but I feel like we've never really talked about like what series will we like always like want to go back to, right? And the reason I want to talk about that is because I've been recently recollecting Ultimate Spider-Man, and I had like a pretty good collection of Ultimate Spider-Man when I lived in Ohio, but I lost it when I moved out here to San Francisco. So I've been recently like collecting like the big like Ultimate collection like books and like reading through those, and even to this day like I will fucking like die by that series because it's just a really well-rounded modern Spider-Man story where like it goes through like it gives new twists to like his origin and like how like the line of like great power and great responsibility and whatnot, like it gives nice little like new like updates to those and like makes it modern and it makes you care and it gives like more depth to a lot of these characters that you wouldn't think about, like Flash, who was like the school bully and whatnot, and like sort of like his background, and then you have his friend Kong, who really like likes the idea of like superheroes, and like Kong's girlfriend like hates it because you learn like at one point like her dad is like a mutant,
And there's Kong, who really likes bananas and
I think like Kong's girlfriend's dad is
If you tell me that Kong is actually black, I'm going to be so...
no, he's like he's like this big like white. I don't think that's his actual name. That's like his nickname.
His real name is Donkey.
Because I read recently where like his mom like called him downstairs or whatever. And there's like really cool things, right? Where like he sort of puts together that Peter is Spider-Man, where he's like, oh shit, like it all makes it like. He got bit by the spider, and then he started going on our basketball team and being really like athletic and all this shit. And then all of a sudden, there's this dude out there who like has spider powers and whatnot. Like he is Spider-Man, and then like you hear like him talking about it with like Flash and his girlfriend, and then like Peter sort of like overhears their conversation, and like Flash and Kong are saying like, "Yo, there he is! Like just fucking ask him." Or like even better yet, like. He's like the scrawny little dude. Go over there and kick him. If he like tries to fight you back, then maybe he is Spider-Man. And like Peter overhears this, and so like Peter thinks to himself, he's like, all right. And the best like and the award for like best young teenage actor goes to, and like Kong kicks him and he like starts crying and all this shit. Like there's cool little details like that, like that Brian Michael Bendis plays around with. And that's why that series is so good. It's because that's like I feel like that's one of the first series where Bendis really got his like name, like how it is now.
Have you read Torso?
No.
I can lend it to you. It's this crime drama that he told.
Okay. When did that start?
It was a short series that I think he did in the 90s.
Okay.
Like, it was so early on that he did the art himself.
Oh wow. Huh. So yeah, like the Ultimate Spider-Man series is just like. I was talking to this to a friend on Twitter, Ben Bellevue, where I was like, the only two like, it's 9 years. That's fucking series goes on for 9 whole years, and the only 3 dips in the entire 9 years is when they get to Deadpool, when they get to the clone shit, and neither of those last too long.
The Clone Saga is always bad.
Yeah, like because they try to redo the Clone Saga from like the original Spider-Man stories.
It's Gwen Stacy, and I'm the Jackal.
Yeah, well, this time Gwen Stacy's Carnage. Spoilers.
Hot.
But it's like it's those two things, and those stories don't even last that long. And then like Ultimatum, and that's like the entire
Ultimatum doesn't count.
Ultimatum like. Doesn't
that
really
was bad
count.
for everyone.
That was bad for the entire
Tastes
Ultimate.
like chicken.
Oh my god, that's so bad. But then like right after Ultimatum, like you sort of get back into like to that good like storytelling, and then you finally get to the death of Peter Parker and whatnot.
And then
like,
Morales, which is also good.
I have yet to really dig into Miles Morales' story, and I want to like sort of reread through all of Ultimate Spider-Man, like the original OG Ultimate Spider-Man, before I jump into Miles Morales. I'm excited though, because like. They do Venom and Carnage way differently, but I think they do it like better. And like those two characters hit more to Peter's home, and it like makes more sense. It's not like this weird alien shit, right? So they make those two villains like more personal to like Peter. Like Black Cat is also like really, really well done. And when they get to like the Ultimate Knights or whatever storyline, where like they bring in like Deadpool or not Deadpool, Daredevil and like Moon Knight, and they're like trying to like finally take down Kingpin like once and for all and all this shit. It's like just like these really well done stories. So that's just one example of like a series that like I will like fucking die besides, just because of just like how fucking rad it is. So what comic series do you really love?
So I'm trying to think about like whether to include short runs in this too.
Yeah.
Like All-Star Superman's my favorite comic book of all time.
Really? Okay. Didn't they just start that?
No. This is Superman Rebirth.
Superman Rebirth.
All-Star
Batman is what they're doing right now.
All-Star Superman came out in All-Star Superman came out in like 2006, 2007-ish, around that time. And it was written by Grant Morrison.
Oh, okay.
And the entire idea is, you remember how bad All-Star Batman and Robin was, right?
Yes.
So the idea behind it was like, we're going to distill the character of like, we're going to distill these characters down to like, we're going to tell like the ultimate story about them.
Yes.
So they got Grant Morrison to do it. And it's a comic that like, I think if you don't like Superman, this is the comic you need to read to like understand what Superman stands for.
Okay.
Because it's all just about Superman. So the basic story is Superman gets cancer.
Okay.
Because he saves these astronauts from almost hitting the sun.
Oh shit.
So he gets overloaded with yellow sun energy.
Yeah.
And so the entire series is just about Superman's like last like few weeks on Earth.
Okay.
And everything he does to help people.
Oh yeah.
And it has my favorite moment in all of comics, where
is this one of the moments where like he's talking to like a boy or a girl on like a rooftop or something?
Girl? Yeah.
Yes. I think this is one of Greg Miller's favorite Superman stories as well.
Yeah, that's my favorite like page in all of comics, just because like in that page you see what Superman is. He's not some guy who does good because it's what he's supposed to. He does the right thing because that's what he believes in.
Yeah.
And that's what Superman means.
Yeah, I've heard of that series a couple of times. That's probably one I should probably read, just because I've been told like over and over again, like All-Star Superman, pretty rad.
I'll lend it to you when I get my copy back from Elias.
Okay.
He's had it for a while.
Elias, get on that shit.
Another one for me was also by Grant Morrison is Doom Patrol. He was running the 80s.
Okay.
Where the idea is that
Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol.
So the original thing with the Doom Patrol, it was basically the X-Men, except it debuted a few months earlier. Like, here's a bunch of people who were born with powers, and also this guy's in a wheelchair. But Grant Morrison took it and like really, it's the most like psychedelic comic I've ever read.
Interesting.
Because the entire thing is like, you read it and it's like, this is awesome. It makes no sense. Like, I think one of the first villains they fight are these people called the Scissor Men.
What the fuck?
Who go around with scissors and cut things out of existence to go into their own reality.
That's fucking weird.
It's awesome. And another one is the Brotherhood of Dada, who traps the entirety of Paris in a painting.
What the fuck? That's really cool.
It's so good.
The other series, like, obviously, that I'm gonna fucking bring up here,
New 52
New 52 Batman, and mainly just Scott Snyder, just in general. Scott Snyder is just fucking nailing it with Batman.
You read the Black Mirror, right?
Yeah, really cool. And have you read Witches before? Witches is really really cool. I think that was what he was doing before he started getting into Batman, was Witches.
Have you read American Vampire?
No.
He did that too.
Oh, okay. Scott Snyder just fucking knows how to deliver a story and like sort of like build up to like a crescendo really well. And so the New 52 Batman is just So fucking cool. And it's like surprising that we're already seeing like things that he's created, like being in like live action versions. Like even though it's fucking Gotham, like the Court of Owls is going to be in Gotham, and that's fucking crazy because that was like 5 years ago when he like came up with that shit. So I just Scott Snyder is just
We had to wait 20 years for Harley Quinn, and it sucked.
yeah, exactly. And but you know what? Court of Owls is probably going to suck because Gotham sucks and doesn't make any sense. But like
almost just a setting on a hairdryer.
God damn it. God, fuck those movies.
I hated Suicide Squad.
So you have like the Court of Owls story, which is really, really cool. Death of the Family was like good. I don't think it's as good as like the other ones, but then you get into Zero Year, which I think is the best sold Batman story ever. And because it's like a new take on like, you know, people get sick of like Batman, like, or just like superhero origin stories in general. But I think this one is done really well because it's not like you go like from like the parents' death to like him training in like Paris and like Eastern Europe and whatnot. You don't go every step of the way, right? Like when you meet him, the beginning of the story is him in the middle of like basically a war between him and like the Red Hood gang, and like the whole like new interpretation of like Red Hood is really dope, and like the sort of birth of the Joker in this universe is really, really cool. And then you also have like Endgame, which is fucking awesome because it's like a new depth to like what the relationship between Batman and Joker is.
I'm kind of disappointed with the end of Endgame, how they didn't go with the whole Joker is this eldritch monster that's always been there.
That was like a really cool lead up, and then it just seemed like it was just one of Joker, like another like joke by the Joker or something. But have you read after Endgame?
Not yet.
Okay,
I'm waiting for Super Heavy to come out on a paperback.
It just did.
Oh,
just today, the day we're recording. Yeah, so
I might stop by the comic store later.
So Super Heavy, Super Heavy is good. They were forced to do things that they didn't want to do because the people who run the entire New 52 were like, okay, we want this, and this has to like go throughout everybody's series. Like they wanted Robo Bunny Batman, and they did that in like fucking All-Star fucking Superman and Batman. They did that in like fucking Batgirl. They did that in the New 52 Batman.
Just a reminder for how bad DC is running their company. When the New 52 started, they had an editorial mandate that no one could have a happy relationship. Because they were like, people like grim and gritty storytelling, even though, you know, the Marvel movies disprove that entirely.
Exactly. So Super Heavy is interesting, and I think it was like the best case scenario of like what you do in that situation where like Bruce Wayne isn't Batman anymore, it's Gordon, you know? But then they bring it back.
Batman.
Like Super Heavy just came out on paperback today, and then the final New 52 Batman volume came out today, which is volume 9, which is Bloom.
Super Heavy Part 2.
Basically. And so that came out on hardcover today. I'm going to also wait for like the paperback version.
Yeah, it's going to take like 6 months.
It is. And so
which sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. And I think it's really dumb. I don't understand why comics just don't come out in fucking paperback right away. It's fucking stupid. I don't know why like all books do that, you know? Like all books start off with like hardcover, and then you got to wait for the paperback. Everybody prefers the paperback.
Actually, with books, I like prefer hardcovers.
Really? Okay.
Because I think it looks better.
Like, I just like the feel of paperback, right? Like it feels easier to like fucking open and keep open, you know?
Like I feel like with more pulpy kind of stories, I prefer paperback. Like
Fear and Loathing,
horror stories,
yeah,
like old sci-fi stories, like Tales of Gore,
and like the
fantasy books.
Do Electric
Do Android Dream of Electric Sheep.
Yeah, like that shit. I understand that.
But like if it's something like, oh, here's Anna Karenina by Tolstoy, I prefer hardcover.
Okay. But yeah, so that just came out today, and that's like the final like New 52 Batman story. And I think they like bring it back in a really cool way, where it's like Super Heavy is like, it's good, it's just not as good as the rest of the series, and then they bring it back in like volume 9 of like Super Heavy Part 2. So that, and then also like the new run, what also came out today is All-Star Batman #2, which is the new Scott Snyder Batman series. And the first issue was really, really cool. It's like this new interesting like story going on with Batman right now, and it's like really energetic and it's told really well, and like all the sort of like points and are revealed in interesting ways. And that's the cool thing I like about Scott Snyder, is that he's able to tell a comic book story like it's a movie, but like still keep it in comic book form and still have it like feel like a comic book, but still have like that movie storytelling style. And that's why I really fucking love Snyder.
He also was part of one of my other favorite pages in comic books, the Death of the Family issue that just ends with Harley Quinn alone.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
I love that image.
So
another favorite of mine is Why the Last Man.
I've never heard of this one.
So it's by Brian K. Vaughan. He did it for Vertigo in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And the basic idea is that for some reason there's a disease that instantly kills every male creature, like including animals, off the face of the planet.
Oh wow!
Except for the main character named Yorick and his pet monkey Ampersand.
Okay.
And the comic is like him and these two other characters like on almost a kind of road trip to figure out what happened. It's really good.
Okay, that's cool. One more that I'll shout out is Bone.
Ah, yes.
Bone was really, really dope.
I'm sad I never like picked any of those up when like
it was really big.
Remember when they'd have like those Scholastic book fairs every year at school?
I mean, I would just fucking pick them up at like our library just had like almost like every single like volume of Bone. It was really fucking rad.
I just remember seeing the Great Cow Race everywhere.
Oh yeah, that was like definitely like the popular one, and that was like one that was specifically like I think with my friends it was just like really popular, and I just fucking that was like a really cool like mixture of a comic series. Like I almost compare it to like Adventure Time, where there is sort of like a general overall story that is like sort of really well thought out, but it doesn't take itself like fucking serious all the time. Like it's able to have like goofy jokes and goofy characters and whatnot, and it's just really, really well done. And that's something like I always loved about Bone. I didn't read it. I didn't read that series all the way through, but I just remember like that was something like I held near and dear to my heart. Like specifically in like middle school, was Bone. Fucking dope. Fucking dope. Ladies and gentlemen, if you forgot since the beginning of the show, this is Talking Shit. It's BCG's weekly podcast where we bring in random topics of discussion. We talk some shit about those topics. If you like that, head on over to patreon.com/BCG. Give us $1 a month. You get every full audio version of the episode early before it goes up on YouTube, where the episode is broken up topic by topic Monday through Thursday, and before the full audio version of the episode is available for everybody on Friday on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and our RSS feed, which you can get all of those things at bzgamers.com if you're like wondering like what our RSS feed is and like what's our Stitcher and whatnot. It's also all of that should be in the description below if you're wondering. Henry, it was nice to be here with you.
Yeah.
It was a nice fireside chat, but I look forward to Max coming home from coming back from his homeland, the Philippines. But before I say our final goodbye, I have to do 2 shout outs today, which is our lovely our 2 Patreon supporters that get shout outs. First off, we have Quentin Hoffman, who gets a monthly shout out. He gets a shout out every month for supporting us on patreon.com. Quentin Hoffman, you can follow him on Twitter at quantum_arbiter. And he is also a host of his own podcast called Break from Reality. I don't know if it's a weekly thing or a monthly thing, but they also talk about nerdy shit and whatnot. And then also Danny Juarez, who gets a shout out on every single episode. You can follow him on Twitter at SoakedDanny. And I don't think he's a host, but I think he appears and guests a lot on Illustrious Magic, which is I believe, a weekly podcast where, they just talk about whatever they want. So
I thought that was the name for the factory where they filmed those porn videos.
So shout out to those 2 guys. Again, like I said at the beginning of this episode, Patreon is changing for us a little bit. So head on over to patreon.com/BGG. See like all of the cool new perks that we've got and just everything that we've changed if you want to check that out. Anyway, Henry, thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you guys for joining us this week. I hope to see you all next week for some more,
titillating action.
But until then, keep talking shit. Thank you.